Welcome to the Magic Boy channel.
Alright, today we're going to dive into a really powerful political ballad. It's this incredible story about a nation that's been brought to its knees, the rise of a new hope, and, well, the shadowy fight to drag it right back into the darkness. We're going to break down this whole story, using the poet's own words. Let's get into it.
Wow, right from the get-go, the ballad pulls absolutely no punches. These first lines paint this bleak, desperate picture of a country in a total crisis, just plundered by its leaders. But you know, it's not just about the money. The poet says they burned the people's flame. That's about extinguishing the nation's entire spirit. This one image really sets the stage for everything else that's coming.
So, the way this story unfolds, it takes us on a journey in a few key parts. First, we get this incredibly detailed portrait of a corrupt state. Then, we see the promise of a new dawn. After that, though, it warns us about this shadowy counter-revolution. And finally, it leaves us with a really powerful message about where the real power lies.
Okay, so let's start with that first part, this portrait of a corrupt state. The poem doesn't just throw out vague accusations. Oh no. It lays out how a nation was systematically taken apart, piece by painful piece.
So the first layer of decay the ballad gets into is both political and economic. It talks about this rampant cronyism with planted pawns in every important seat, controlling everything. And the result? Well, it's not just a broken bank, it's a broken national spirit, a timid state that's just filled with shame on the world stage.
Now this is where it gets really interesting, because the ballad claims the control went way beyond just politics. It seeped into the social fabric itself. It describes this deliberate strategy of manipulation. You pacify the workers, you make it a crime to disagree, and all the while you reward the people loyal to you. It's all about maintaining that absolute grip on power.
And the rot just keeps spreading. The ballad alleges that the very institutions that are supposed to be society's backbone, religion, law enforcement, the justice system, they were all hollowed out from the inside. And the poem suggests that when these pillars fall, a nation completely loses its moral compass.
But of all the accusations in this section, this one is just chilling. It really gets to the ultimate human cost of all this alleged corruption. According to the ballad, it wasn't just systems that were broken, it was the future itself, by silencing the voices of the young and the truthful. And right here, this is the turning point. Out of that bleak landscape, the poem describes a new force emerging. They're only identified as we, and they decide that things just cannot go on like this. This is where the story pivots from despair to action.
And this just lays it all out so perfectly, doesn't it? It's the central conflict of the whole ballad. On one side, you have the legacy of the old guard, just defined by ruin and oppression. And on the other, you've got the pledge of this new force, built on three core promises: justice, reconstruction, and actually serving the people.
And this new movement, according to the poem, they've got a clear plan. It's a total reversal of the decay we just talked about. First, you uproot the corruption at its source. Second, you prosecute the people responsible. Third, you rebuild the economy. And finally, you deliver that prosperity and dignity that was stolen from everyone.
And these weren't some quiet whispers or backroom deals. The poem makes it really clear that these were public declarations. This new group laid out their intentions for everyone to see, promising real, tangible results, better pay, better care, and bringing back a sense of dignity. It was a fundamental break from the past.
But just when you think hope has finally won, the ballad introduces one last dangerous twist. See, victory isn't the end of the story. The old establishment, they don't just vanish. They start to fight back from the shadows, and the poem has a name for this: the counter-revolution.
So what does the poem actually mean by counter-revolution? Well, it's not just simple opposition. It's a calculated, dedicated effort by that old power structure to undo all the new changes and claw their way back into control. And they're not doing it through an open battle, but through subversion.
The ballad uses this really powerful metaphor to explain how this counter-revolution works. The influence of all that past corruption, that stolen money, it's still active. It's not a visible army you can fight. It's a hidden network of backdoor kings, working in the dark to undermine the new order and set traps for progress.
So how do they fight back? The poem alleges this really devious new strategy. They weaponize discontent. They stir up strikes and protests, not for any genuine reform, but to create chaos. They're hoping that in all the confusion, people will get scared and turn back to the familiar evils of the past. After detailing this insidious threat,
The ballad's final stanzas shift the tone one last time. It stops being a story about what already happened, and it becomes this direct, urgent call to action about what happens next. And this, right here, this is the core message of the entire poem. The ultimate warning isn't about celebrating a victory over the past. It's a warning that the biggest threat isn't the counter-revolution itself. It's the possibility that the people might lower their guard, that they might forget the lessons they learned and just become complacent.
And so the ballad leaves us with this final, crucial question. It concludes by saying, people's power is wide awake, eyes open, lessons learned. What that suggests is that the only permanent defense against this cycle of corruption, it isn't just a new government or new laws. It's a vigilant, aware, and empowered people who simply refuse to fall asleep again. It's a powerful thought to end on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Thank you for watching my channel.